I never believed in ghosts, not really. That kind of thing always seemed like something from campfire stories or grainy horror movies. Shadows that moved on their own, whispers from empty rooms, cold spots in warm halls. But what happened to me that autumn on a lonely stretch of Route 86 shook every certainty I ever had. I was on my way to visit my estranged father in upstate New York, a man I hadn't seen in over 12 years. The road was quiet, lined with skeleton trees and bathed in a kind of gray silence that only late October can conjure. It was the kind of silence that gets under your skin, that makes your hands twitch on the wheel and your eyes search the mirror a little too often. It was already past sunset when my gas light blinked on. I hadn't seen a gas station for miles, and my phone had been flickering between no signal and one stubborn bar since I crossed the county line. I cursed softly under my breath and kept driving, watching the gauge drop lower and lower. That's when I saw the sign. It came out of nowhere, glowing faintly through the mist. Emma Jean's Eatery, home cooking since 1947. The sign was old and a little crooked, its neon lettering buzzing faintly against the quiet. But it was a sign of life, finally. I turned onto the gravel driveway, tires crunching like bones beneath the car. The eatery sat hunched beside the road, tucked between tall pines that swayed with a slow, uneasy rhythm. It looked like it hadn't changed in decades. A red brick building with a tin roof, fogged-up windows, and a yellowing open sign that blinked irregularly, as though powered by memory more than electricity. I hesitated for a second, just a beat, but I was tired, cold, and hungry. I figured I could grab some food, ask about a nearby gas station, and be on my way. Inside, the place smelled like warm biscuits and burnt coffee. The air was thick with the scent of fried food and something else, something older, mustier, like an attic that hadn't been opened in years. A bell above the door jingled as I stepped in, and a dozen eyes turned toward me. At least, that's what it felt like. But when I blinked, the room looked nearly empty. Just an old man in the corner, hunched over a bowl of chili, and a woman behind the counter wearing a pale blue waitress uniform. Her name tag read Betty. She smiled, but her eyes didn't. "Sit anywhere, honey," she said, voice sweet and tinny, like it was playing through a dusty radio. "Kitchen's open. Cold night out, huh?" I nodded and chose a booth by the window. The glass was so foggy I couldn't see the parking lot anymore. I glanced back at the menu already on the table. It was laminated but worn, the corners curled like dead leaves. The prices hadn't changed since the 70s. Coffee was 50 cents, pie was $1. Something about that struck me as off, but maybe they just hadn't updated the print.